TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett asserts that while Jerusalem is not interested in war, it cannot remain oblivious to the accumulating threats which are rooted in the Islamic Republic of Iran. Unidentified aircraft bomb Iranian-proxy targets in Syria's eastern desert region bordering Iraq. French Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Drian warns Iran not to be delusional about the state of affairs vis-à-vis its nuclear-related activities and diplomatic stalling. Israel is a lighthouse in a stormy sea. This was the opening notion made by Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, who addressed the United Nations General Assembly yesterday evening, further labeling the State of Israel as a miracle of Jewish revival that has brought the heritage of the Torah, the Hebrew reference to the first 5 books of the Bible, to life in its modern embodiment.
Israel is a nation of great hope, a nation that's brought the heritage of the Torah to life in modern-day Israel, a nation of an unbreakable spirit. Me'at min ha'or doche harbe min ha'choshech. A bit of light dispels much darkness. The lighthouse among the stormy seas stands tall, stands strong, and her light shines brighter than ever.
While highlighting Israel's eagerness to serve as a contributing factor to the world in parallel, it is forced to contend with a grim reality of being geographically situated in the toughest neighborhood on earth. With that being said, Jerusalem is determined to disassociate itself from past wars that were repeatedly imposed on it since its inception.
For way too long, Israel was defined by wars with our neighbors. But this is not what Israel is about. This is not what the people of Israel are about. You see, Israelis don't wake up in the morning thinking about conflict. Israelis, like everyone else, want to lead a good life. We want to take care of our families and build a better world for our children. And that means that from time to time, we might need to leave our jobs, say goodbye to our families, and rush to the battlefield to defend our country.
The Israeli Prime Minister went on to stress that while the Jewish state strives to do good, it cannot remain oblivious to the accumulating threats surrounding its borders.
While Israel strives to do good, we cannot lose sight for one moment of what's happening in our neighborhood. Israel is quite literally surrounded by Hezbollah, Shia militias, Islamic Jihad, and Hamas on our borders. These terror groups seek to dominate the Middle East and spread radical Islam across the world. What do they all have in common? They all want to destroy my country, and they're all backed by Iran.
Bennett continued by asserting that Iran's great goal is crystal clear to anybody who cares to open their eyes, while imposing its dominance on weak nations which are embroiled in deep economic distress, such as Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, Yemen, and the Gaza Strip. In tandem, the Islamic Republic is working tirelessly on developing nuclear weapon capabilities.
Over the past few years, Iran has made a major leap forward in its nuclear R&D, its production capacity, its enrichment. Iran's nuclear weapon program is at a critical point. All red lines have been crossed, inspections ignored, all wishful thinking proven false. Iran is currently violating the IAEA's safeguard agreements, and it's getting away with it. They harass inspectors and sabotage their investigations, and they're getting away with it. They enrich uranium to the level of 60%, which is only one step short of weapons-grade material, and they're getting away with it.
On Sunday, the International Atomic Energy Agency circulated a report among its member states in which it accused Iran of breaching an agreement from September 12th to grant inspectors access to service monitoring equipment within its nuclear installations. Despite Iran actually granting access to a number of sites, it refused to allow IAEA inspectors service the agency's monitoring equipment at the Karaj nuclear workshop. And while the European Union, as a consequence, merely labeled Iran's failure to adhere to its agreement with the IAEA as a worrying development, the United States took a more threatening approach by pledging to exert diplomatic retaliation within days unless IAEA inspectors are granted access. It is interesting to know that in response to the EU and US statements, Iran's ambassador to the IAEA, Gari Babadi, claimed that Tehran's refusal to grant the IAEA access to the Karaj complex, where centrifuge kits are being produced, is due to ongoing security and judicial investigations that after the site was targeted by clandestine sabotage, which the Ayatollah regime naturally blamed Israel for, despite claims by the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran roughly 3 months ago that it managed to foil an attack on the very same nuclear component workshop. However, regardless of Iran's reasons to obstruct IAEA inspections and outstanding investigations, Prime Minister Bennett emphasized that the State of Israel does not have the privilege to ignore Iranian activities.
Evidence which clearly proves Iran's intentions for nuclear weapons in secret sites in Turkuzabad, Tehran, and Marivan is ignored. Iran's nuclear program has hit a watershed moment, and so has our tolerance. Words do not stop centrifuges from spinning. There are those in the world who seem to view Iran's pursuit of nuclear weapons as an inevitable reality, as a done deal, or they've just become tired of hearing about it. Israel doesn't have that privilege. We cannot tire. We will not tire. Israel will not allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon.
It is interesting to know that on Sunday, September 26th, a fire broke out in what was described as an RGC-operated self-sustainability research center. And while initial reports indicated that 3 people were injured in the blaze of undisclosed origin, 2 of them were later proclaimed dead, with the RGC glorifying its operatives as revolutionary martyrs. Separately, unidentified aircraft launched 3 separate strikes on installations that were manned by Iranian-proxy militias in Syria's eastern Deir ez-Zor desert region, southwest of the town of Al-Mayadin. While the extent of the damage and number of casualties was not immediately clear, ambulances were spotted rushing towards the locations of impact. And while circulating reports alluded to Israeli responsibility, the IDF spokesperson's unit did not confirm nor deny its involvement in response to TV7's request for comment. Returning to New York, where French Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian, addressing the UN General Assembly via video link, warned Iran not to be delusional about the state of affairs vis-à-vis its nuclear-related activities and diplomatic stalling.
Quant à la poursuite du programme nucléaire iranien, elle exige de nous la plus grande fermeté. L'Iran ne peut croire que le temps joue en sa faveur, car les risques d'une crise majeure augmentent à mesure que son programme nucléaire devient plus dangereux. Les positions américaines d'hier ne peuvent justifier que l'Iran continue de violer les engagements qu'il a pris au titre du JCPOA.
Despite the call for a firmer stance to ensure Iranian compliance with nuclear safeguards, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken reiterated this past weekend that the United States remains very much prepared to return to Vienna to continue the talks on reviving the 2015 nuclear agreement.
We don't have yet an agreement by Iran to return to the talks in Vienna. We're very much prepared to return to Vienna to continue the talks, and the question is whether, and if so, when, Iran is prepared to do that. We have been very sincere and very steadfast in pursuing a path of meaningful diplomacy to get back to mutual compliance with the JCPOA, and also to address the full range of concerns that we and many other countries have with Iran. We continue to believe that a return to mutual compliance with the agreement is in our interest. It's the best available option to restrict Iran's nuclear program and to provide a platform to address its other destabilizing activities.
Thank you for watching us. As part of TV7 Israel's prayer initiative, I would like to encourage you today to join the team and me here in Jerusalem to lift up Australia once again in prayer for its salvation and peace, alongside prayers for our persecuted brothers and sisters worldwide, in addition to our ongoing prayers, of course, for the peace of Jerusalem and the salvation of Israel. Separately, I would like to thank all of you who have partnered with TV7, effectively allowing us to maintain and develop all of the ministry's operations here from Jerusalem. I'm Jonathan Hassan, wishing you an Erev Tov u'Mevorach, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.